Good morning and welcome to today's Wellness Wake Up. We have our fourth agreement today from The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I feel like, I might have said this for every single one up to this point, but this one feels like maybe the most important one, but also the most challenging one. And it feels like one of the simplest at the same time because it's always do your best. So when we accept this final fourth agreement to always do our best, it helps us more deeply integrate the first three agreements because at the end of the day, we are only doing our best. You might not be impeccable with your word, and in hindsight, realize that you were only doing the best that you could in that moment and that we can learn from it and we can continue to move forward. You might have made an assumption multiple times in the day. And again, it's just a reminder that you're doing your best in every single moment, and we take those as learnings so that we can move forward and continue to make these agreements. And they get easier over time. So the thing that Don Miguel Ruiz, I took some notes, of course, and he mentions that always doing your best is the action of the other three. So like these, again, like you do the three agreements, being impeccable with your word, not making assumptions, and not taking things personally. And in taking those three agreements, you have to remember that you're always doing your best. And again, to not beat up on yourself because we're learning, we're reprogramming these agreements, and all the agreements that we have had up until this moment have been so hardwired because we've repeated them so many times for years and years and years. And this rewiring of these agreements is going to also take time. Your best will never be the same from one moment to the next. Absolutely love this. So, like, he uses the example of when you're sick, doing your best is going to look very different than when you wake up and you have full energy. Your best will look different from when you're about to go to bed and you're really tired. So, keeping that in mind, right? Being gentle with ourselves. And then keeping in mind that when you deplete yourself, it's harder to do your best and it takes longer to accomplish your goal. So, when this is an example for me, I wake up early, I exercise a lot throughout the day, I work full time, I just pack my schedule with one thing after another, and I don't leave time to breathe. This depletes my energy and it depletes me, which means that accomplishing a goal is going to take longer and my best will look different through that versus if I take time to nourish myself and not overschedule myself, my best will look very different. If you do your best, there are no regrets. So keeping in mind that, and you learn to accept yourself and you learn from your mistakes. So, um, you have to look honestly at the results and keep practicing. So again, if there's a time when you feel like, right, maybe you could have done better, that thought comes to mind. We have to remember that you were doing your best in the moment, and then we can practice to maybe do our best. Well, practice to remember to do our best, I guess, is what that's saying. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to. I love this one. If you take action because you have to, it's better to just not take the action at all because you'll never do your best. He uses going to work, and most of us go for a paycheck and we go because we have to, and trying to find a way to want to go to work, to want to have an impact, to want to feel better about the work that we're doing in the world. Because anytime that we have to do something, we're not going to do our best. I'm going to sit on that this week. I think it's a really interesting note, and just kind of see how it enters my life, because I started noticing, I would say I have to, I have to go to school when I was in college, and being more impeccable with my word and saying like, I get to. if I don't want to, I don't have to go, yet I'm going. So there must be a part of me that wants to. Okay, the next one is that he likes to make everything a ritual. Whatever life takes away from you, we have to let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. And he was really indexing strongly on the fact that this present moment is the most important. Living in the past or the future will always be in this idea of like hell on earth. And so really learning to be more present in the moment. Letting go of the past means you can enjoy the dream of right now. If you live in the past dream, you don't enjoy what is happening right now because you will always wish it was different than it is. Oh, that one's really good. I'm going to bold that one. I think that that is a very powerful statement because we sometimes we want to make something as great as it once was, and it never will be. It'll always be different. And I think that that is what always doing your best reminds us of, like, because our best will look different in every moment. Not being attached to the past or recreating it, not being attached to a way that we showed up in the past either, because it's changing, it's ever changing. So, not enjoying what is happening right now is living in the past and being only half alive. This leads to self pity, suffering, and sadness. Say no when you want to say no. Say yes when you want to say yes. You can only truly be you when you're doing your best. When you don't do your best, you are denying yourself being you. You don't need knowledge or the acceptance of others. The first three agreements will only work if you do your best. And they'll only work if you accept that you're doing your best. So knowing that there might be room to grow, but you are doing the best that you can. Everything you've ever learned has been through repetition. When you honor the four agreements, you will live in heaven, control your own life, and find personal freedom. So that's the Toltec kind of like belief. And he also says that these four agreements summarize the mastery of transformation from the Toltec perspective. When you respect their meaning and power, you can make these agreements. Oh, yeah, he said you can make the agreement today that you choose to honor the four agreements. I choose to honor the four agreements. It's a simple agreement that anyone can make, and we can wake up each and every day to this agreement to remind ourselves that we choose to honor the four agreements. You must defend these four agreements. If you fall, stand back up and make the agreements again. I think that's so important because we're human. It's inevitable that we're going to fall, right? And so if you're not impeccable with your word one day, remind yourself that you're doing your best, learn from it, and then continue to practice. He says that it'll be difficult at first, but each day it will get easier and easier until someday you'll be, these four agreements will be ruling your life, and you'll have no effort at implementing them. Keep your attention in the present and always do your best to keep the four agreements. I absolutely love that. And I love this one because anytime that I realize when I'm looking back at a moment or a way in which I was in the world and I could have done better, I remind myself that I was doing the best that I can, and my best might have changed, and I can recommit to those agreements and do better in the present moment. So I hope that the fourth agreement of always doing your best finds you well. And I will continue reading. There's a few more chapters and little tidbits that I want to wrap up. And then, I didn't bring it to show you today, but there is a fifth agreement that I'm really excited to share with you as well. It's actually also one of my favorite books. So that'll be the next one that we dive into. Thank you for joining me today, whether live or in the replay. And I will see you again on Friday. Have a good one.